Hello, greetings, and hi there. It is I, at last, back in the land of the living. Yes, just when you thought it was safe to go on YouTube again, I have returned. So I suppose you're wondering what I've been up to for the past several months during my absence. That's a very good question. I've kind of been wondering that myself. I'll make no secret of the fact that things haven't been going too well lately. Kind of been struggling for the past few months. Starting with a long-term relationship that ended later last year, and that kind of sent me on a downward spiral. I also had a run of bad luck after that, if you believe in luck. Personally, I don't. But after a while, I was starting to wonder if the bad luck fairy had graced me with his or her presence. Not exactly the kind of presence I like. Anyway, I did get a break between Christmas and New Year, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to drive to British Columbia to go see my sister because I haven't seen her in about 8 years. So I did that. It was a long drive, considering the rest stops and refueling. I did manage to grab a couple hours sleep, but all in all, it was about a 17-hour journey. Nonetheless, given the time of year, the roads weren't too bad. It was a good drive. I had a nice visit, a brief one, but enjoyable nonetheless. However, on the way back, about 10 kilometers west of the Saskatchewan-Alberta border, two deer decided it would be a really good idea to play in the middle of the highway on the other side of a hill. Needless to say, I didn't see them until the last second as I topped the crest of the hill. I slammed on the brakes, but there was just no way I was going to avoid hitting one of them. So I decided to end 2025 with a bang. I did go back to check on the two deer, but they were nowhere to be found, so I have to assume that they fared somewhat better than my car did. Normally, I would be quite upset at that kind of thing, being an animal lover, but not this time. Nope. I hope that damn deer became venison for some lucky coyote. Stupid deer playing in the middle of the highway. What do they think they are? Anyway, so 2026 started, and I thought, well, new year, new fortune, onward and upward. Things can only get better. Well, they didn't. A few weeks ago, I came down with shingles. That was fun. Anybody thinking of coming down with shingles, well, you might want to check the fine print on the brochure because it's really not all it's cracked up to be. Didn't really enjoy it at all. Didn't help that I was misdiagnosed at the first emergency room I went to, and he basically just fobbed me off with some antibiotics, which, if anybody knows anything about shingles, they are completely ineffective because it is a virus. Had he diagnosed me correctly, they could have administered antiviral medications, which are only effective for the first 72 hours. Needless to say, I went to a different hospital because I still wasn't feeling any better, and when it was finally diagnosed, it was far too late for the antivirals. So I just had to grin and bear it. Didn't like that at all. So I thought, well, that's it. I've done it all now, all the bad luck is over. That's it. I'm done and dusted. Until this happened a couple of weeks ago. Evidently, the prospect of reheating yet more leftover Chinese food was just too much for my poor old microwave, and it decided to end it all. And no, I didn't put anything metal in said microwave, it just spontaneously combusted. Fortunately, the breaker did its job and tripped before the house burnt down. Nonetheless, it was just another straw on ye old camel's back. I was starting to get pretty darn fed up by now. In fact, a coworker commented that she'd never met anyone with as bad a luck as I was having. Joy. My mood wasn't helped much by the fact that, even though it's well past the middle of April, I'm still driving 50 miles to work and back in this crap. I know, I know. I'm in Saskatchewan. What do I expect? You live in the Canadian Prairies, you get what you pays for, right? Well, that's true, but after 6 months of winter, it does get a little bit depressing. In fact, it eventually occurred to me that I was, in fact, displaying signs of depression. That's kind of new for me. I've never really had a bona fide depression before. Sure, I've had my down periods. Everyone does, right? Life gets to you now and then, and yeah, things seem a little bit bleak, but you get over it. Well, this time I wasn't getting over it. It was a little bit more profound, a little bit more hopeless, and the most worrying part was I'd pretty much lost interest in everything, including modeling, and that is also a first for me. Modeling's always been there for me. In thick, thin, ups and downs, I've always enjoyed building models. Well, I pretty much lost interest in it. So I thought, I better do something about this. I have an extended healthcare plan at work, and as part of that plan, I have access to counseling should I so desire it. And I thought, well, I'm paying through the teeth for this plan, I may as well utilize it. So I booked a few sessions with a counselor. Now, these are virtual sessions. They're done by video link, so I don't actually have to go into an office and lie on a leather couch or anything. Nonetheless, they have been very, very useful. And I have to say, I'm feeling quite a bit better. In fact, I think I'm pretty much back to my old self. There are some who say that that may not be a good thing, but nonetheless, you get what you pay for. I'm back, and I'm feeling pretty good, despite the fact that it is still a piece of shit for weather out there. I mean, what are we, April 18th? We got a snowstorm yesterday. I mean, come on. Can we get on with this spring thing? And come on. I've had enough of winter. It's done, Let's move on. One suggestion the counselor had for me to sort of re-inspire me, give me a sense of purpose, both of which I had kind of lost over the last few months, was to do some volunteering. Now, this sort of rang a chord with me, or struck a chord, rang a bell, one of the two. Anyway, it appealed to me. So I got in touch with the Aviation Museum in Saskatoon, and I'm going to start volunteering there on weekends, hopefully in a week or two. That'll kick off, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm also going to do a Warp Plastic episode on that museum because they've got some pretty cool stuff in there. So look out for that. That's going to be exciting. You're going to like it, I hope. Anyway, so yeah, that's going to be good. Now, the other thing I think that has sort of caused a lack of inspiration, especially for the modeling, has been this area that I'm building models in. I'm in essentially a cold, damp, dark, and dingy, unfinished basement. Now, that's not so bad in the summer. It's nice and cool down here, but in the winter, it's even more depressing because you don't even get any daylight coming in through the windows for a lot of the time. So I'm going to make some changes down here. I'm not really sure what at this point, but I'm going to try and make it a little more, I don't know, homey, comfortable, something. I don't know. Haven't figured that out. That's going to be, I don't know, in the next month or two, I guess. But the number one change I'm going to make is to the workbench itself. Specifically, I'm going to clean up this disaster. Now, if you've seen my very first video, and I think I mentioned it as well in a couple of subsequent videos, it's kind of my modus operandi. I work in organized chaos. I always have. It's always worked for me. To a point. Eventually, the mess gets to be too much, even for me, and I have to have a little bit of a cleanup. So that's going to be job number one. I'm going to tidy up this disaster over here, and hopefully that will also help a little bit with the inspiration, and I'll get back into modeling more and more and more. But over the past few months, I have actually done some modeling. I've tinkered with it now and then to try and get myself back into it, and I did finish a couple of things, as well as make some progress on other old projects. I'm doing my very best to finish off all the old projects I have on the go before I start anything new. And believe me, I've got a lot on the go. There's probably, I don't know, 20 things going on the workbench there, and that doesn't even include all the projects I've started and put back in the boxes. So, yeah, I need to crack on and get some old stuff finished off, and that includes the ones that I finished, or rather started, started for this very channel, such as the Weedell Williams Racer and the 1/72nd scale Brewster Buffalo. Those are back on the table, and we will have updates on those very, very soon. Now, I just want to say one thing before I do show you the stuff that I've done, is that despite the fact that it's been a kind of a bleak few months for me, I have done my very best to remind myself that it could have been far worse. I mean, I've got an income, I've got a roof over my head, I've got food on the table. At least I do when it's on sale, because I can't afford full price for food anymore. I'll just go hungry. Let's not even mention the price of gas these days. I reckon since the old conflict started in the Middle East there, it's probably cost me another $150 a month to get to and from work. And I know who I have to thank for that. Not mentioning any names. Anyway, things could be much, much worse. I don't have bombs and missiles raining down on me, like a lot of people do on our planet right now. And I've got a shiny new warped plastic shirt. So there we go. It's not all bad. Here's the first model I finished a couple of months ago. It is, of course, the Tom Daniel Pie Wagon. Always one of my favorites as a kid. I still like it. It's got pies. What's not to like? And I finally finished restoring the old Aurora Forgotten Prisoner. I've had this very model since I was a child, so this is the oldest model I have in my collection. It's getting on a bit. And last but not least, the Mirage 1/72nd scale M3 Lee, which I finished in slightly conjectural Canadian markings. I really don't consider myself an armor modeler. It's very much a secondary interest for me. So those of you that are armor modelers, I apologize for all the mistakes. Alrighty then, let's finish off with a quick gander at some of the many, many projects I have on the go, shall we? The Hasegawa 1/72nd scale Polycarpov I-16, which I started many, many years ago. Not one of Hasegawa's better efforts, I have to say, in terms of fit and accuracy. The main problem this kit has is with the shape of the wings, and in fact the wings that you are now looking at are resin replacements from Neo Mega. When you compare that to the original one from the kit, you can see that Hasegawa has got far too much taper in there. In fact, it's the same mistake Revell made back in the 1960s with their 72nd scale I-16. So I think the resin replacements are a big improvement. I'm also not overly enthused with Hasegawa's depiction of the fabric-covered tail surfaces. They're kind of overdone. But at this point, I really want to get this damn thing finished and off the workbench. The other mistake Hasegawa's made is with the decals. For some strange reason, they printed the patriotic slogans for the fuselage in silver, when in fact they should be white. So I created a set of masks, and I painted my own darn markings on, which I think looks quite a bit better. And for those that are interested, on my Patreon page, these and other mask sets are available. So have a look at that. The link is in the description. Here's the cowling and cockpit door, which I've cut out, and a tiny wee spinner. I've also used bits of an Edward set, especially for the landing gear doors. I think they will look quite a bit better than the kit ones, which are not very detailed and quite thick. Now, for the first time ever, I've used Hataka paints. And I have to say, I was quite impressed. They're really very good. I used this set here, early World War II Soviet Air Force paint set, specifically their camouflage green, camouflage green, and the underside grayish blue. Now, I was a little surprised at the colors. They went on very, very well, but the green is, I don't know, pretty bright, and the blue is kind of dark. But I am by no means an expert on Soviet aircraft, so I'll take Hataka's word for it. Hataka has 3 ranges of paint: blue, orange, and red. The blue, which is what I used, are apparently optimized for brush painting, though I did in fact spray them and they went on very, very well. The red range is acrylic. Oh, these are also acrylic, by the way. The red range is acrylic, presumably for spraying. And the orange range is a lacquer-based paint, which I have yet to try. I do have quite a few of their sets, so I will definitely use them again. You can see that I've gloss coated it. I haven't put clear flat on yet. And the stars, by the way, are from a print scale sheet. Next up, I have this little Dickens, a 1/72nd scale Hawker Fury. I'd started the Matchbox kit, well, to be honest, many decades ago. Completely detailed the cockpit, which you probably can't see there, but trust me, there's quite a bit of detail in there. I'd done all the rescribing, drilled out the exhausts, got the fuselage together, and then it went back in the box for a good long time, mainly because the wings in the Matchbox kit are quite horrible. They suffer from the same problem as Hasegawa's I-16. They are rather overdone. So, over time, I experimented with reskinning the wings via the Harry Woodman method. If any of you are familiar with that, I do plan to do a video on that method in the future. And if you have a copy of his book, consider yourself very lucky. It is quite hard to find, but well worth seeking out. It is, if you will, the Bible of scratch building. Anyway, here was an early effort that I made, reskinning the Matchbox wing using that method, and it didn't turn out too badly, I don't think. But in the meantime, A Model came out with their very nice kit. So I thought, rather than starting all over again with that one, I'll just graft the A Model wings onto my completed Matchbox fuselage. Thus, you have the result you see before you. Now, I'm going to do mine as a Mark II, using these decals. This one right here, I find that scheme very attractive, and I also like it with the spats on, which you get in the A Model kit. This ramshackle collection of rather odd-looking pieces is in fact a 1/72nd scale SAM-2 missile from Gran. Here's the box for it right there. And I have to say that that picture looks decidedly better than what you actually get in the box. It's very crude, very soft on detail, and very poorly fitting. Fortunately, I had in my possession an etch set from OKB Grigorovich. I think that's right, Grigorovich? Well, let's go with it. Anyway, here's the remnants of that here. And as you can see, it adds a great deal of refined pieces, such as the perforated steps and the plates on the side. And I've also added some of the missing detail from wire and thin plastic rod. So this is almost ready for paint. Well, in fact, the base part, the launcher, is ready for paint. I just need to do a little more work on the missile, and then I can get that painted. And that, hopefully, will be yet another model off the workbench. And finally, I have the long-awaited and highly anticipated Eshi F-16 in 1/72nd scale. This one's coming along quite nicely. I'm fairly pleased with the way it's coming out, although it is, of course, coming along very slowly, because that's kind of my norm. Snail pace. Anyway, I really like these markings from Astra Decals, and it's for the Royal Netherlands Air Force Orange Jumper test aircraft. It's just a little bit different for an F-16. It's got that long stripy nose probe and the spiffy bright orange pod underneath. So I quite like this one. And I don't have a lot more to do on it. I got to vac form the canopy and get that all together, finish off the drop tanks and a few other bits and bobs, and then it's ready to go. And there we have it. There's my little workbench update for you. There are, of course, a plethora of other projects I could show you, but I don't want to drag this video out any longer than it has to be. It's already been painful enough, so we'll leave it there, shall we? Now, I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone that has stuck with me, especially through my extended absence, especially the subscribers and the members. It is very much appreciated, and I will do my very best to return to regular updates. So that's going to do it for today. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and become a member, and comment, and leap about, and check out the store where you can get cool stuff like this. What else should you do? Well, if you live in the prairies, you probably want to shovel some snow, because you just can't get enough of that kind of thing, can you? So that's going to do it for today. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Well, I probably won't see you soon, but hopefully you will see me soon. Anyway, thank you, and goodbye.